Okay, so I'm extremely tired, given that I was more used to waking up in the early afternoon. I had an alarm set for 8 a.m., and that didn't happen because I had originally planned to go to sleep by midnight, and I was up till at least between 2 and 3. I've already brushed out my hair, as you might be able to tell by its craziness, its frizziness. But we're going to be doing makeup, so I'm not really concerned with hair for a second. Um, yeah, I'm super tired. And I haven't had coffee or anything. Just got up, got dressed, and came over to my computer. Let's get the hair up so I can do the makeup. And ta-da! I was watching a very. Hang on a second. Hang on 1 second. I will get the hang of this at some point. Okay. Should be able to hear me better because the mic is connected to my headphones because we're just making do with what we have right now. But yeah, um, let me start by getting my stuff out. And I wish I could pan the camera to show you that my kitty cat is sitting right next to me, enjoying the window. But last night I was watching makeup tutorials because I wanted to do, a half decent with my own streams. And I've got quite a ways to go in regards to, what am I trying to say? Quality of both the makeup and the stream when I do these kind of things. What are you? You're another eyeliner? I'm just pulling out my stuff here. I think that's all I needed to grab. Oh my God, but I am so very tired. Um, Either way, this stream got me up at 10 instead of 2, 3. So we're already making progress when it comes to putting effort into life, getting up and around. And it is so early. I haven't even taken my medication yet. So let's get those out, and I will have a video. Oh no, I just spilled the whole pill bottle. Oh, at least my dog's not anywhere near me right now, and it's all kind of isolated to the dinette seat because I should be able to pick it up pretty quickly. It's not a stream ender, but oh my God, estrogen everywhere. Let me look for stragglers. Um, anyway, I was saying I'll have a video record that I'm medication compliant. Um, Not that that's ever really been an issue for me. There we go. They're all back in the bottle. At least I hope they all are. Did I miss any? I missed two. Okay. Great start to a video, though. I guess being live, I'm gonna have to get used to unplanned things like that, just popping in. More medication. That's not an open pill bottle. I need to find the open one. There we go. And it's not anything crazy. A couple of years back when I was doing worse, I took like 20 pills in the morning. But at this point, I take five, just five little pills, and three of those are to regulate my hormone condition because I have a hormone defect where my natural hormone levels are really screwy. So when I was younger, I don't remember what age, I found out that my testosterone sat at a level too high for a girl and too low for a guy, and my estrogen sat at a level too high for a guy and too low for a girl. And that was just what I was kind of working with for who knows how long, my whole life. And a few years later, I got diagnosed with Addison's disease. So I also have that going on, where it's something about the adrenal gland and your blood pressure regulation, sodium and cortisol levels. So I've got that going on. Anyway, we are basically 10 minutes in, and I haven't started any makeup. So this is a great makeup stream. I was watching a YouTube video that showed tips on makeup for beginners, and they said for your beauty blenders, you should always wet your beauty blenders before you use them. That way, they are less likely to just absorb all the makeup. I think that tip is really just for um, getting your product to stretch out, because obviously, if the sponge is absorbing the makeup, it won't be going on your face. But I don't have a reliable way at this very instant to wet the sponge next to me, so I'm going to just skip that step and deal with it. I'm not the biggest fan of the foundation I do have regardless, and I would love to go back to the e.l.f. brand because I've always used e.l.f. That was just what I've used since coming out, and um, it was great. It's good for coverage. I would back in college get a lot of compliments on my skin, but it was in reality compliments to the makeup. That always, boosted my self-esteem when I was starting out. But you can see here, I don't know if this is a foundation meant to build where you do multiple, you know, coatings of the foundation to get the desired effect. But I've learned from the makeup tutorials and trying to get back into this for you and for me. I'm not going to make it all about streaming. Um, that I prefer a full coverage from the start um, foundation. I don't want to build, and I don't want to have to guesstimate if it's thick enough, if it's um, coated enough. Because in my mind, coating your face is kind of the entire job description of foundation. And I did skip any and all color correction again, as well as spot concealer, because I don't have those. Um, if I had gone like 5 days or more, then I might have had some hair growth on my face. I've never had all that much. But for that, I've been told I would look for an orange concealer to try and counteract the blue tone of the natural shadow from the facial hairline. Oh yeah, I've avoided my eyes out of habit, but I don't have the concealer, so I'm going to have to stop doing that right now. What? Sure, sure. We'll go light on the syrup. Apparently, I'm having waffles. I'm talking to the stream. So, what I'm doing here is just stipling the foundation all over because I would rather pointlessly be tap tap tapping on my face than under blending. Not that there's anything to blend it with, but under smoothing might be the better phrase. This looks a little better than yesterday. I purposely used more because it wasn't as full of coverage as I would have liked from my previous experience with foundation from the Elf brand. This is just dollar store. This is Maybelline New York. That sounds like a fancy brand. That sounds like I've heard commercials of them, but they are not as good as Elf, in my opinion. Not for that purpose. Not if you like it the way I do. Um, so foundation is founded, or whatever you would call it. And here is where, if I had, I'm going to use this as an example. This is eyeliner, but pretend it's a slightly lighter shade of concealer because that's what I'm used to. If I had it, I would put it under my eyes. Oh, they're already done, the waffles? You okay? Okay. Waffle. Let me set that to the side real quick. If I had the concealer though, the slightly lighter shade, I'd go right under my eyes and I would do the lid because I don't have an eyelid primer, although I am interested in looking into that for the first time ever. And that's pretty much what I would do with the concealer aside from spot concealing. But I don't have that, so beggars can't be choosers. Um, I'm going slow because I'm just trying to think of anything and everything that might be on my to-do list. Today I'm wearing a black and red shirt, um, and a red mini kitty cat. Do not eat my waffles. You do not eat my waffles. You go. You stay away. I'm waiting on silverware for the waffles. We ran out of silverware in our RVs, so we're gonna have to borrow some from inside, and you're gonna get to watch me eat. Your cat is so rude, trying to eat my waffles and then almost spilling my foundation. Yeah. I love how earlier in the stream I was calling him my cat, and then he does that as your cat. Yeah. You get to watch me eat. Yay, I hope this is what you. Hardly, hardly. So I'll continue with the makeup once I'm done with it. It's like 4 bites, but it's a really good waffle, fluffy. Milk chocolate, white chocolate chips, and light syrup. I'm taking a little bit of big bites because honestly, the food is segmented into 4 equal-sized pieces, and it feels kind of weird to further segment it into smaller. It's like I don't want to use the phrase OCD incorrectly, like a lot of people do. It's a particular thing, you know. But once I'm done with this last piece, I will start on my eyes. I'm wearing a red mini skirt and the shirt that I showed you. So we're going black and red today, maybe some pink. And I'm thinking pink because I'm going to the store to buy a little bit more makeup because I realized from today and yesterday's stream what I don't have. I gotta get concealer. You just gotta have concealer. I'm gonna look at the prices of eyelid primers and I'm getting a lip liner. And I can't use my super black gothic lipstick like yesterday because my intention is to match the lip liner to my natural lips as closely as possible. And so that also means the makeup has to be a bit softer today to accommodate the fact that we're not going full on goth. Waffles have been eaten. Now we can get back to the intended purpose of this stream. This water from Walmart, apple flavored, is so good. My fridge is like stocked with them. Okay, okay. I'm to the point where I can do this. Let's try and get any and all leftover residue from last night, uh, as much as we can anyway, off this brush. And one thing, one of the makeup tutorials did that I was interested in, I should grab the mirror. That would be helpful to me. 1 second. I think I know where it is, unless my partner moved it. Oh my god. 1 second. I'm sorry. Mirror. Mm, now we have it. What was I saying? Oh, one thing the makeup tutorial stream did. Normally, I've applied my eyeshadow in the past from light to dark, which makes sense to me. But Steph Sunyati from YouTube applied hers in this tutorial I watched, dark to light, making it hug the lash line a lot tighter than I'm used to because I didn't really ever think to do that. And so that's what I'll be going for. For reds and pinks, I have Heatwave, Empire, Irreplaceable, Adore, Memories, and maybe Marvel, but Marvel's getting into the purple territory. And that's what we're working with. I wish I could show you. The palette's too big, the laptop's too awkward. Um, but what I will do, I believe, because if I were a bigger streamer, I would ask you, like, out of those names, with no context, you can't see what they look like, which ones sound good to you, and I'd try and make that work, and that'd be really fun. But um, I'm going to be the one picking here because I do not have an audience to rely on. And I think I'll be picking Heat Wave and then try and shade that out into Memories and my go-to nude sparkle in the lightest section of the eye. So, first off, Heat Wave. Let's see how intense it is on my arm. Not as intense as I worried about. That's actually really nice. So, Heat Wave. And I'm going to try and do what Steph did and really hug the lash line with my darker shade of eyeshadow. And I'm going to do that on both eyes. Even though left is so difficult. Oh my god. I'm always a little more heavy-handed on the left because I don't have the coordination. So I'm trying to match up, and I think that'll be more than good. With how light the heat wave went on, as opposed to what I imagined it would, I'm gonna actually, instead of going with memories, go with adore, and we'll see how that goes on. That goes on pretty dark, so that might, and purpley. Oh my god, that might have been a massive mistake. I'm just going to, to get that off the brush. I'm not going with adore. That is a very pink. That is like Barbie, legally blonde pink. So we're sticking with memories, like the original plan. And as I'm going with my medium shade, I will loosen how tightly I'm clinging to the lash line and blend directly over my dark shade. With this, it doesn't work as well as I would hope because the heat wave was such a lighter shade to begin with when it was supposed to be dark. But we'll know that for next time, and we'll be able to adjust. Now, the reason you would hug the lash line with the dark shade and then, um, let me think of my words, hug the lash line with the dark shade, and then as you go to a lighter shade, loosen, loosen, loosen until you've got full eye coverage. Is so that by the time you're on your lightest shade, which I have not picked yet, it'll be closer to a nude. Um, you'll be able to blend into the shades and maybe get them to be a little bit more of a gradient. And I'm thinking we might do Buttercup again, just because of how much I liked Buttercup. But closer to a nude might be better because there isn't really any yellow in my attire today. And I don't want to go for like an orange and meet in the middle of my red and my yellow because then it looks like a sunrise and I'm not very tropical today. So I'm going to pick carving, which looks like I've never used it. Yeah, that is all right. And I'm going to be very loose with my application of carving and paint it right over the entire eyelid, not caring for when I slam directly into where I left my darker shades. It's subtle, and I'm not a subtle person, but it is what I was going for today. So we will accept it. We will say job well done and not try and overhaul what we claimed our goal was the whole time. I'm just doing my left eye now. That's all right. That's a little messy, but it's the second time I've done eyes in 7, 8 years. So that's fine. I will then dip into my spangle, my very light, shiny kind of white, and I will dot the inner corner of my eye. I will be coming back to this when I'm done to redot because that little highlight there is just something I like to do. I don't know how many tutorials do it, but someone must have gotten me on the uh on team highlight in the corner eye. There we go. And eyeliner. And I'm planning on doing mascara today if I could find mascara. Is it mascara or mascara? I will never know. So now we can put up the eyeshadow for now. We might have to touch it up depending on how abysmally I perform doing the eyeliner. But I did pretty well, especially for a first time in a while the other day. So In the tutorials I watched, they said that you can cheat by only going to the halfway point of the eye, and I disagree with that. I don't know if I have expertise enough, because I have zero expertise, to disagree with anyone on anything, but I want to go a little bit past the midway point when applying my eyeliner, and I think that works so much better. Okay, that applied extremely well and extremely easily, and I'm very happy with that line there. So, another tip that almost every tutorial I watch has told me is to lift your eyes. I don't know what that was, but okay. To lift your eyes with this makeup, the effect, you would follow your waterline from your lower lid when angling your eyeliner. So I'm doing that now I do think it already looks better than yesterday, but it's clearly not done on either lid. I like that. I think I might like to thicken it a bit more, or at least mm, web it out. Maybe web is the wrong word here, but I don't know what I'm looking for. From the top lid. Yeah, a little more like that. I'm forming makeup opinions. I'm basically, I've gotten there. And next is my left eye. Oh my God. Always a source of stress, always difficult. And I think yesterday I used my left hand for my left eye, so I'm going to try that again. That does better than I thought it would every time. And if it doesn't do better than you think it would with you using your non dominant hand on your non dominant eye, worst case scenario, with practice, it will. And then I've gotten more from the base lid coverage to making the actual wings. So here's where I switch back to my dominant hand. It's thin. It needs to be connected, needs to be like webbed into the top, but it's doable. And I think I kind of like how it turned out better. Yeah, it was real thickly webbed. So I will alter my dominant eye to match. And there we go with the eyeshadow. Sorry, eyeliner. Thank you. All I have left is the lips if I can't find mascara, which I don't know if I actually have. I don't have it in my makeup bag. It's this tiny thing. So we will see. I've never been good at mascara, but get the mirror back out. I don't know why I was trying to use the webcam. And I saw on one of the tutorials that they said, I love the wording on this. It's just a canon event that you've got to make silly faces when you're doing mascara. And I think that's just such a fun way to short circuit any anxiety, is to think of it that way. I didn't have an eyelash curler, so I didn't use it. But I like what this does, at least to my dominant eye. And I'm doing my best not to touch my skin. Although, a trick I was told, if you do touch your skin, is not to try and save it immediately, but rather let it dry and then it'll just flake right off. So I'm hoping that's correct. because I am acting with the confidence that it is. And mascara's done. That was way less of a hassle, way less of a problem than I remember it being. Although I probably didn't do it the best. Okay. I am a little bit of an idiot though, because when I said I only had lips and mascara left, I was a liar. I found contour, and it's very scary. And I don't want to make my face look dirty, but I do want to be able to say I know how to do it. Yeah? So I'm going to go over, while trying to talk myself into using it, what my understanding is of how to use this contour stick and highlight. So you're trying to manipulate the shadows as they fall on your face, right? And let me start with my nose because it seems like a more finite, more controlled area. And in my mind, undoing any problems that I managed to create with my nose would be easier than if I did like my entire cheekbone. And we'll go from there. So, in trying to make your nose slender, you would start at the inner part of your nostril and move up. I don't know at all how this applies, so I'm being very careful. You see that? I don't know if you can see that, but it just looks like I took a nude lipstick and rubbed it on my nose. It's bad. Um, but I will not be deterred so easily. Doing it again for the left side, straight up, as straight as I can with my left hand. Now look at that. Look at that. That's dumb. That's stupid. But I'm going to continue. I'm going to trust the process a little bit. And what I want to do, if I remember correctly, for the nose, let me put doing this a little bit out of order, the contour away and dig out the highlight. So we'll go straight up the middle, not from the tip, but up the middle with the highlight. I should have been a little more sparing than that. And then a little bit on the tip. That's what I was told anyway by tutorials. And I'm going to just stipple what I have, stippling being that tapping motion, as I try and blend out the effect. And it went away very quickly, so that makes me more confident at the ability to undo what I've done. but not particularly confident in my ability to make any of this matter. Do you see a difference? I don't. And in my brain, in my notes for next time, I'm going to say that is use more. Use more than I did. And it'll be a guessing game, a work in progress, but we'll figure it out together. For now, I can use the highlight in other places, such as possibly under my eye, this part here of the cheek ridge, and making it symmetrical, because even if we mess up, symmetry is our friend. Back to contour. You don't want to do it on the cheek line. You want to do it in a motion that goes up. That's a lot. That's a lot more than I use on the nose. We will see how this works. And I'm honestly not feeling it, but let's see what this gets us as we blend up, tapping it out. It gets it to where I don't tell a difference. And that's all I can hope for. It's better than regretting my actions. What I'm doing is I'm pushing up because that's what they said to do in the tutorial on the cheekbone, and then I'm tapping it out once it's been pushed in the direction I would want. Let me get the highlight under the eye. I should have done these in two different steps, I'm aware, and I will next time. Now, when it comes to my jaw, I'm kind of fat. I've gained weight from a thyroid condition in the past year. A lot of weight, actually. But I am going to, again, trust the process and see what we can do with this. I can see the effect a little bit there. I'm not sure how to feel about it, or if I did it particularly subtly, which I'd be shocked if I did. But it's not nothing, so that's nice. And that has given me a little bit of a confidence boost. I'm going to try and redo the nose contour more generously now that I've done the cheeks. And I'm going to push the nose contour a little bit inward at the same time as down when I blend it because you want that shadow to not be as pronounced. Because a pronounced shadow means a pronounced object casting the shadow, and that's the opposite of the effect we want. So we're going to try and tap it. We're going to try and hardly push it a little bit reductionlessly while we make it happen. I'm almost done. It's a longer video. I've almost done an hour-long stream, but I'm trying the contours, so um, completely brand new to me. And I don't know if I could even tell a difference. I'll have to watch more tutorials. Last things last, lip gloss. So we're to the point where we put the glasses on, let the hair down,